All right. Well, great. Well, thanks everybody for joining us this evening. Welcome everyone. We're so happy to have you here, and so we can talk about our favorite beaches in the South Pacific. So we are your hosts tonight, me, SMB, Shazza, whatever you'd like to call me, together with Vanessa, Ness, and Laura, LT for short. We are going to be talking about French Polynesia, Fiji, and the Cook Islands. All three of us are luxury travel designers, and we have been to all three of these destinations. So if you'd like, grab a bevy, relax, and we can show you these beautiful destinations. Should take about 30 minutes here. And certainly this webinar will be recorded as well. So just a little bit about Down Under Endeavours. Most of you know us already, but just so you know, we do specialize in the South Pacific. We've been selling it for over 20 years, and our owner is Australian. In addition to our expertise on each one of these countries, what makes us different is that we really like to get to know you personally so that we can customize your itinerary to your requirements, budgets, must-do, etc. You will find we really tried to get you off the beaten path and to experience these places as a local. Most of the activities we are going to recommend are going to be small groups, 10 to 12 people, or private experiences. And certainly with these three destinations, we'll certainly get to know your personality so that we can make recommendations on which of the destinations would be best for you. So here's our agenda for tonight. LT is going to review French Polynesia. I will cover Fiji, and Ness will do the Cook Islands. If you have any questions, please place them in the chat, and we will cover your questions at the end. So let's get right to it. I will hand it over to LT, who will take you to the islands of Tahiti. LT.
Thanks, Shannon. Hi, everybody. All right, so French Polynesia. Well, most people know the islands by the name Tahiti. Tahiti is actually the major gateway island hosting the international airport for the country of French Polynesia. The islands of French Polynesia are divided into 5 groups. Today, we're going to focus on the Society Islands, which include Moorea, Taha, Raiatea, and one that you may have heard of called Bora Bora. French Polynesia is located south of Hawaii and northeast of New Zealand. There are direct flights from LA and San Francisco to Tahiti, and they are approximately 8 hours. The islands are located on the same side of the date line as us and in the same time zone as Hawaii. French Polynesia is a year-round destination, offering more sun and less rain than most other islands. The idyllic travel months tend to be March to October, with November to February just seeing a bit more rain and humidity. So where do you go when you're in French Polynesia? Well, your first stop will be Tahiti. Due to flight schedules, it is likely that you'll spend one night on the main island. For example, we arrived into Tahiti at 11 p.m. and woke up the next day to this view, which has Moorea off in the distance there. If you do wish to spend a day in Tahiti to explore, I suggest taking a tour to see the local markets, maraes, and the black sand beaches. But today, I would like to focus on our 2 favorite islands, which are Moorea and Bora Bora. From Tahiti, you can ferry or fly to Moorea. You'll see the ferry terminal up in the corner there. Moorea is one of the larger Society Islands with a small downtown, local restaurants, and a pineapple plantation. Some of my favorite activities here include quad biking, hiking, sunset cruises, jet ski island tours, whale watching, and cultural experiences. I always recommend a stop to Belvedere Lookout, or Magic Mountain as the locals call it. And when Shannon went to the top of Belvedere Lookout, she even got a fresh coconut. If you're feeling adventurous, you can rent a roadster and self-explore the island. So if you do get out and about like we did, I highly recommend lunch at this little place called Snack Mahana. It's definitely a small local spot, but it has the best food. And my favorite hotel here on Moorea is the Hilton Moorea. The property and rooms themselves are really lovely. I would recommend an overwater bungalow or the plunge pool suites, which is the photo in the corner, and that's what we stayed in. And I would suggest 3 to 4 nights here. One question I usually get is about dining. Most people ask for an all-inclusive package, but I highly recommend the local restaurants. The restaurants will provide free transportation to and from your hotel. The food and prices are better, and we can even book and prepay for some of them for you, such as Moorea Beach Club. And then departing from Moorea, you'll take a 45-minute flight to Bora Bora. It's definitely a scenic flight because you can see all the different colors of coral and islands beneath you. I suggest ending your stay in French Polynesia here at Bora. Bora Bora is made up of Mount Otamanu, which is a dormant volcano in the center of several sand islands, or motus as they're called. Upon arrival, you will locate your representative and take a boat transfer to your luxury resort motu. Whereas Moorea has a more adventurous focus, Bora Bora is for those looking for relaxation and enjoying the privacy of your own space. If you want to venture beyond the sand and spa, I recommend a day out with the sharks and rays. I went scuba diving while I was there, and Ness did a swim and picnic day, and we both really enjoyed our experiences and would highly recommend them. In the evening, you'll enjoy a degustation menu at one of the fine restaurants at your resort. And in Bora, my favorite resort is the St. Regis. The St. Regis has one of the best views of Mount Otamanu, but it is also really spread out. So on one side of the resort, you have family bungalows and a winding, shallow lagoon where you can safely snorkel. And the other side features 2 long boardwalks with overwater bungalows and an adults-only pool. The video that you're watching on the left-hand side was a video that I took of our overwater bungalow during our stay at the St. Regis. So you just saw the bathroom there. You're about to walk into the spacious bedroom here. And yes, I do play a particular movie on repeat that may have been filmed in this area. You have the living space here. Of course, you have the see-through floor, so you can watch the fish, sharks, kind of whatever is down there swim by. And then you have that patio with direct access to the water. Okay, and this is my absolute favorite video and memory. We took a sunset cruise in Bora, complete with champagne, and our captain even sang a local song on the ukulele. So you can just kind of enjoy that sunset view there. So why travel to Tahiti? Number one, it's easy. You have direct flights. There's no visa requirement for US citizens, and French and English are widely spoken. Number two, the islands are small and easy to navigate by boat or plane. And number three would definitely be the scenery. Soft white sand beaches, turquoise waters so clear you can see the rays swimming 20 feet below, and green mountains off in the distance. It's the stuff of fairy tales, or if you happen to be a Disney fan, Moana. And now I'm going to hand it back to Shannon to tell you about Fiji.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Laura. So Fiji is a group of 3 large islands in the South Pacific. It's only about a 10-hour flight from LAX or San Francisco, and there are daily flights from LAX. These islands are known for their beautiful beaches, colorful coral, and fish. There's also, as you can see on this map, really easy connections from Australia and New Zealand. So Fiji makes a really nice combination with those countries as well. The best time to travel to Fiji is anywhere from April to November. December to March is considered to be humid season, and it's also the time when they can perhaps get cyclones. We do consider it a year-round destination, but we usually recommend that you kind of stay out of that December to March timeframe. Most resorts in Fiji are going to be on their own island, so you're definitely going to feel like you're in the middle of nowhere. Fiji has a lot of different styles and price ranges to choose from for a resort, and there's also a large range of beaches to choose from. If you are looking for the absolute best white sand beaches, in my opinion, in Fiji, you're going to want to go to the Asawa Islands. The only drawback there is that there are a limited number of resorts, which also means limited availability. But with all of the different options, we will definitely find the best match for you. Probably the most enduring part of Fiji, I find, is the wonderfully kind and hospitable people. On any given day at a resort, you will find the staff running around singing. They'll give you a big bula. They usually sing when you arrive, they sing when you leave, and they're just wonderfully kind and caring people. And we do get a lot of questions about the food in Fiji. It is very fresh because most of the resorts are operating right there on their own island. You're going to get a lot of fresh fish and a lot of fresh vegetables. This is a picture here of one of my favorite dishes, which is called kokonda. So we're going to review some of the different areas of Fiji, and this kind of shows you that there are a ton of islands within Fiji, but we're going to focus on the big three islands here. And we're focusing right now on this Viti Levu and this area here in the circle, which is called the Coral Coast. So if you are looking for bigger resorts with lots of activities, this is the best place for you. It's also a really lovely option as it is based on the main island with the international airport. So if you've only got 1 to 2 days in Fiji, it's a pretty easy 30 to 90-minute land transfer to get to some of the more desirable resorts. And beaches on this particular island are going to be longer, but they're going to be narrower, and they're going to be a little bit more hard-packed sand. The great thing about the resorts on this area of the island is they're going to be bigger and lots of activities. Two of the ones that we recommend are going to be Outrigger on the Lagoon or the Intercontinental. The Intercontinental also has a lovely golf course. So if you're looking for bigger resorts, lots of activities, easy to get to, Coral Coast is a great option. The Mamanutha Islands that I've shown you here are a string of islands just off that main island there. Also fairly easy to get to, takes about a 30-minute land transfer from the airport, and then only anywhere from an hour to a 2-hour boat transfer, depending on which resort you're staying at. Resorts on these islands generally are the only property on the island. So you really are going to feel like you are on your own island. A lot of them have a hill or something in the middle that you can do some hiking on. The beaches are generally going to be small to medium sized, but you are going to potentially be able to snorkel right off the beach. There's also lots of non-motorized water sports like stand-up paddleboarding and kayaking. Now, because these islands are a little bit further out, you may find you get some coral or some seaweed on those, but the staff are wonderful in cleaning that up very quickly. This particular resort here is called Tokariki. It is one of our favorites. Now, we do get a lot of questions of people asking about overwater bungalows in Fiji, and there is a bit of a misconception that Fiji is known for its overwater bungalows. There's actually only 2 properties on in the country that offer overwater bungalows. One of them is the Marriott, and then this one here called Ligu Ligu. I know LT had a chance to stay at this beautiful property. So definitely, as you can see, these sit right on that coral shelf, and you can definitely do snorkeling straight off the beach. Another great thing to do in the Mamanuthas, of course, is get a spa treatment outside. So let's move on to these 2 larger islands here, Vanuatu and Taveuni. They're fairly close together, and it does, as you can see, they are separate islands, so they do require an additional flight. Now, these are domestic flights operated by Fiji Link. They are jets, they are not tiny planes, so it takes about an hour to an hour and a half to get to your given destination. Both islands are really good for land-based activities. Hiking to a waterfall, as you can kind of see, it's much more dense rainforest on this particular island. Both islands, actually, Vanuatu and Taveuni. Also known for its snorkeling and diving, it is the soft coral capital of the world. And as Laura and I can both attest to as divers, having dove in that area, the colors are just absolutely wonderful. Beaches on these 2 islands are going to tend to be dark sand. They're going to be pretty small. Some of the resorts actually don't have much of a beach at all. They're going to have a coral reef in front. For example, this one here, Namali Resort, which is one of our favorites. The entire front part of this particular resort is all coral. So you can get your reef shoes on and actually walk right along there. This resort is fantastic because it is actually all-inclusive, meaning it includes meals and drinks, one of the only ones in Fiji. Now moving over to Taveuni, another one of our favorite resorts here is Matangi. And this particular view here is one that Ness took when she went hiking above Horseshoe Bay. Horseshoe Bay is accessible from Matangi, and it is listed as one of the 1,000 places to see before you die. And as you can see, it is absolutely stunning. So both those islands great for snorkeling, diving, land-based activities. We're going to move over to our last area here, which is still on Viti Levu, but around the Suva Benga Lagoon Pacific Harbor area. Now, Suva is the capital of Fiji, and so it's going to be the commercial capital. But one of the reasons why I like to point this area out is in Pacific Harbor, there is a place where you can actually go shark diving. It is not cage diving. They actually feed the sharks right in front of you. Now, you do need to be scuba certified in order to do this because you are underwater the whole time. It is an absolutely amazing activity. So if you are fascinated by sharks, this is perfect for you. One of the great things about this area also is there's lots of different ways to get there. Commercial flight from Nandi to Suva. You can do a land transfer. You can do a seat-in charter or a helicopter transfer. So lots of great ways to get there. Now, one of our favorite properties in this area is called Royal Davui. It is actually out on its own little island. So it takes about a 30-minute boat transfer from Suva. And these are actually my own personal pictures. This is me in my plunge pool. But one of the things I love about this island is you can sit in your plunge pool and look down here and see all kinds of reef sharks. So it's a pretty cool place, but there's lots of options in Fiji. Certainly it's a great connection for doing combinations with other South Pacific countries. And without further ado, I am going to turn it over to Ness to talk about the Cook Islands.
Well, thanks, Shannon, and kia orana, everybody, and welcome to the Cook Islands. So let's jump right on in. There are 15 islands that make up the Cook Islands, and they lay halfway between New Zealand and Hawaii. The Cook Islands are a relatively unknown beach destination to most of the world, however, are often visited by Australians and Kiwis looking for that tropical escape. The two islands I'm going to cover today are RAROTONGA, which is the main island, as well as AITUTAKI, which is great for those who want to lose touch with the world for a few days. And you can see both of those featured on this movie. These islands are not overly developed. Think of what Hawaii was many years ago before the big resorts came in. Most of the properties are small and do not have a lot of amenities attached. They really want you to get outside the property and enjoy the local food and culture. So Air New Zealand is the main international airline that flies into the Cook Islands. They offer direct flights out of Auckland once a day and then out of Sydney and Los Angeles once a week. Because of this, the Cook Islands make a great standalone destination as well as a destination to combine with a trip to Australia or New Zealand. Here at Down Under Endeavours, we can certainly help you structure the trip so that you can make the most of that direct flight routing, which is really key. So when should you travel to the Cook Islands? It really is a year-round destination. The drier months are going to be from April through to November and have an average of about 78 degrees Fahrenheit, whilst the warmer, more humid season runs from December through to March, and during this season, the temperature ranges from about 71 to 86. So focusing in on RAROTONGA, RAROTONGA is the hub of the Cook Islands, and this is where you're going to fly into. There's a bunch to see and do here, and yet it really does remain unspoiled. There are no traffic lights, no McDonald's, and no building taller than a coconut tree. Getting around RAROTONGA can be via the island bus, which uniquely travels both clockwise and anti-clockwise around the road that circles the island. Or if you're feeling more adventurous, like Laura did when she was there, you can hire yourself a scooter to drive around. It only takes about 45 minutes to get around the whole island, so you're never going to feel like you're stuck in the same spot. On RAROTONGA, you have over 100 different cafes, restaurants, and bars to choose from, with many being located within walking distance from the hotels. So you're always going to be spoiled for choice. There's also a great nightlife scene with open air bars that are scattered along the beaches. There's plenty to do and see here activity-wise, such as cultural shows, ATV tours, village tours, mountain hikes. This is my picture from Needle Point Lookout, which is at the top of the RAROTONGA Cross Island Walk. There's also plenty of water activities that you can do here. And from the picture, you can see that the lagoon around RAROTONGA is absolutely stunning. These activities are going to include snorkeling, diving, kite surfing, kayaking, stand-up paddleboarding. The list is really endless, and most of the non-motorized water sports are going to be included with your hotel stay. So there are plenty of accommodation options on the island, and the two that I'm going to highlight today are Pacific Beach Resort. Pacific Beach Resort is a larger resort with 1, 2, and 3 bedroom villas. So this resort is going to be really good for families and groups traveling together. There's also a kids club here, which is pretty spectacular. And also Roomers Resort. This is going to be a wonderful 5-star option and is really suited and catered towards couples and honeymooners looking to travel to the Cook Islands. So moving on to AITUTAKI. AITUTAKI is really for those who want to lose touch with the world for a few days. To get here, it's a 50-minute scenic flight from RAROTONGA, and flights operate twice daily. So while you could do a day trip here, I strongly recommend staying at least 2 nights on the island if time allows. AITUTAKI really is a dropout and relaxed type of place. It has an absolutely gorgeous crystal clear blue lagoon. As both Shannon and I can attest to, a must-do day tour here is the Vaca Cruise. The Vaca Cruise goes out on the lagoon, and it'll give you a chance to snorkel and swim off the deserted beaches, which is scattered all the way along. You also get to stop at One Foot Island, which is where you can actually get your passport stamped. As the island is so small, there are only a few accommodation options here. And each have their own restaurants attached. The one here I'm going to point out is Pacific Resort AITUTAKI. It's a small 5-star adults only resort. Here your bungalows are scattered along the beachfront, and they give you direct access to the beautiful lagoon and beach right in front of your villa. So these are just a few different shots of the resort from all the different angles. So in summary, if your preferred style is getting out and exploring the local culture and cuisine with small, intimate properties, great beaches, and then the Cook Islands is most definitely your spot. So as you can see from our presentation, each country is definitely beautiful and unique in their own individual ways. If you'd like to know more, please reach out to us at Down Under Endeavours, and we'd be more than happy to work with you to customize the perfect trip for you. If you do want to learn more, our next Travel Tuesdays is going to be on the 2nd of June at 5 p.m. Central Time. We're going to be covering Alaska, so somewhere a little bit more closer to home. And we'll be sending out an e-blast if you'd like to register closer to the date. So thanks for joining us here today.